Oh, hello, 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 hello. Yeah, आएगी. आ गई? Okay, okay, ठीक है. Hopefully, hopefully everything is
Okay.
working fine now. Let's actually start here. ठीक है? Um, hmm, is it still looping? Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Brother, audio is going bad. No looping. It's good. ठीक है. चलो. Perfect है. ठीक है. हम अपना आगे बढ़ते हैं. I let me actually put the live stream somewhere here so that I can see the comments that you guys are making because फिर तो problem हो जाएगा. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Seems good. Okay. Let me continue then. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Technical glitches भी आपने बर्दाश्त कर लिए. I'm very excited to welcome you all in this workshop. Okay. Let me clear out today's agenda. Okay. The session is going to be around 90 minutes. Okay. In this 19 minutes, we'll discover one framework. We'll discuss one good problem statement. Okay. And then I'll discuss how do you actually go about solving these kind of problems now onwards as a product designer. Okay. If you are somebody who is young in their career and have not gotten to work with product managers, etc., you would love it. There's so much interesting stuff, planned in the workshop. Even if you are a mid-career professional and you have been let's just say मजा नहीं आया अभी तक करियर में है ना बहुत अच्छे अच्छे प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट नहीं मिले तो एट द वेरी लीस्ट टुडे we will be giving you guys something to actually explore, something to work on. Now, if you guys know, in fact, you would not know, and that is, okay, we are planning this workshop in two parts. So today is going to be part one, where I'm going to be discussing a problem. Okay, I'll show you how to break it down, and then I'll also show you how I would have approached the solution, and then I'll give it to you guys as a homework. So think of this as like a free product design session, two sessions. Okay. Today we'll discuss a problem, discuss some frameworks, discuss the breakdown of the problem, how do you approach it, and then I'll let you guys explore. And then we'll do a part two of this session where we will discuss how I have solved the problem or how I would have solved the problem if I was working on that problem full time. ठीक है उधर पे the core essence will be how I would have solved the problem 3 years ago, and then how I would solve the problem today because we now have AI and what are the additional capabilities that AI has now unlocked for us. That's the goal. That is the combined output of these two workshops. Okay. Workshop 2 is going to come in 7 8 days. You'll see in the reels, just like you guys got to know about this workshop. ठीक है नेक्स्ट वर्कशॉप के बारे में भी पता चल जाएगा ठीक है चलो कमेंट्स में एक्साइटमेंट काफी चल रहा है लविंग दिस थैंक यू सो मच गाइस ओके let's now move to this. Let me know if you guys can actually see this presentation along with. Oh, yeah, I think you guys are able to see it. Give me a thumbs up quickly. Krish, you haven't even stepped into the industry. Good, amazing. Then today, what you will get to know, you will love it, enjoy it, and you will also be an advocate of good design going forward. ठीक है Chalo. Now, oops. Oh, something happened to my light. Yeah. Okay. Sorted. Hmm. This workshop is titled Designing for Real People at Scale, which is how great product designers will solve the problems that matter today, and how is AI going to change all of these things. Now, this workshop is for four kinds of people. Okay. If you have been majorly, let's just say, majorly limited to Figma so far, and you're like, "Yeah, Figma, to I know Figma really well, but I don't know how to become a product designer," this is for you. If you have been somehow not getting good quality opportunities in your current organization to do high quality product thinking, this workshop will kind of expand your brain on how to go about this. Okay, which means you were a UI practitioner for now. Now, if you are a curious learner, then also this workshop is for you. And via this workshop, you will also um, get to understand how does design happen in a fast-moving company. And lastly, if you're somebody who is curious about AI, then you will also get to know how can we start using AI to solve problems at scale. But yeah, this part is going to be majorly explored or heavily explored in the part two. So you have to stay tuned until part two. Now, let me quickly address the gap that has existed in the design education up until now. If you search for Figma, oh, sorry, if you search for UI UX design tutorials right now in any platform, YouTube, Instagram, kahin par bhi, right? What you will get primarily is first a lot of Figma tutorial and then a lot of UI design tutorial, which directly assume that you know how to do product thinking or don't care about product thinking at all and only teach you the surface level stuff. Okay, but then, and by the way, this happens for people who are learning from YouTube. This has happened to people who are learning in biggest of the biggest boot camps in India. This happens to people even when they are learning, like when they're doing masters from a lot of the design colleges. The problem has been the same, which is what is being taught and what is being actually used as a product designer day to day. There's a big gap. Okay, now uh, let me tell you exactly how does design happen, right? How does design happen in a big company? And that is in most product companies, number one, designers are not the sole thinkers. Okay. Product managers, business people, leadership. This does most of the thinking. Okay. So imagine you are working in a company like Zepto or PhonePe. Number one, the biggest of the biggest decisions are being planned 1 year in advance by the leadership. Let's say this is year 2024. Okay, 2024 का जून चल रहा है. Zepto is doing really good. Zepto is doing getting constant funding, and then suddenly there's a new company in the town which is called Swish, which is launched from HSR. What is Swish doing? Zepto is delivering groceries in 10 minutes. Swish is saying we will deliver you snacks, pre-made fresh snacks in 10 minutes. Now imagine Zepto leadership had no plans of this, right? They were like, okay, they had something else planned for like, the next 6 months. This is imagine June 2024, and then they suddenly see this, new cool company coming up and saying, oh, we will actually deliver chai, samosa, Maggie, noodles, chow mein, macaroni, like I don't know kya kya, but yeah, like we will deliver you food in 10 minutes, and the industry is suddenly shocked, right? These people start suddenly getting traction. Market में बात हो रही है कि यार, oh my god, somebody has taken Zepto's model and then took it somewhere else. Now imagine Zepto की leadership, right? They are suddenly like, oh my god, okay, like ये हो क्या गया, right? We never imagined that somebody would be able to scale our model into such a industry, such a new industry. How can you deliver food, right, in 10 minutes? And that is when, yes, that is when Zepto Cafe is born. Okay? And now imagine Zepto Cafe was not a designer's invention. Remember this, Zepto Cafe was not a designer's invention, it was a leadership decision trickling down via product to design and technology. They thought of it, they planned it, and then they were like, okay, you know what? We need an app that looks really good, right? And then that delivers these services. But again, even then, let's understand this, okay? How does a product suddenly come into market, especially in e-commerce domain? I'm taking e-commerce domain for most examples, even though we will be taking PhonePe for a lot of the examples, because e-commerce is really easy to understand, right? All of us have been e-commerce customers for years. Now imagine, even if somebody in Zepto leadership, right, just comes up here, you know what? We will also launch something. We will also deliver this cafe food, and maybe we will name it Zepto Cafe. It still has not reached designer. It still hasn't reached to the designer as a task. It's not like the moment Zepto CEO thought of Zepto Cafe, he suddenly went to a designer and be like, "Bhai, you know what? jaldi se cool sa app bana karke de do." It does not happen like that. That person, the CEO, would have started to talk to their logistic people first, right? They would have talked to their logistic people first. They would have tried to, build a procurement, like a whole logistic chain where you can get food from somewhere, okay, store it in a dark house, heat it up, deliver it in like 10 minutes, and then how do you make sure कि यार खाना खराब नहीं हो रहा है, right? How do you make sure that your food is not getting wasted? What if you don't get enough orders? And these are true business challenges that get solved before something even touches the designer's table. This is important for a lot of you to understand that design is not like CEO ने सोचा designer को बोला, right? CEO thought of it, they just told the designer, and then designer suddenly started assembling input fields and buttons. No, it does not happen like that. When you work for a company that is actually operating at scale, there's a huge machinery that actually works before anything actually touches the designer's table. Okay, that machinery is true business. What we designers are doing is we are helping sometimes build the product, right? Or sometimes we're building an interface that is gonna be a mediator between the product and the user. Imagine if you are a designer in PhonePe app, which allows you to make payments with UPI, is the product. But if you are a designer at Zepto app is only a mediator between other parties that are building the product and then users that are getting the product delivered. This is important. Okay, this is the hidden picture behind the design. Okay, chalo, I'm going to quickly look at the chat and see if you guys have any response to it. Okay, how many of you actually think about these things? Okay, oh, you know what? What's actually happening behind the scenes in my company? How are they actually able to make business revenue? Let me know in the chat. I'm reading the chats. Let's see. Mayur is saying, Mayur thinks about it. Okay. Hmm. ठीक है, चलो. If you guys are thinking about it, I have a question for you. Okay. How do you think cred makes money? Whoever has thought about it, tell me, how do you think cred makes money, or how do you think PhonePe makes money? Because e-commerce ka it's pretty easy, right? E-commerce can just charge a commission. They hold the items in their warehouses. They kind of they sell it on their platform. There is a small commission always involved. More number of products sold, more number of revenue. ठीक है? Hmm. Commission fee for cred. You think banks are gonna give commission to cred for getting the credit card bills paid? Bank apps, every bank's app already has an option to pay your credit card bill. Nobody's paying uh, nobody's paying cred to actually get them, their bills paid. Nobody. Hmm. Sukriti is saying lending. Ah, good. Smart people. Yes, lending is one of the biggest ways cred would be making money, even in PhonePe. Okay, PhonePe also makes money by. Chalo, PhonePe ka. Let's just quickly see. How do you think PhonePe makes money? Ads is a very small chunk of their revenue. Hmm. Sponsor partner ads, commissions on tickets booking. Interesting, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. The biggest way PhonePe makes money is by recharges and your bill payments. That's the biggest revenue driver. Okay. Nobody makes money on UPI payments. Okay. UPI payments is a huge infra cost. But recharges and bill payments, insurance, okay, investments, a lot of investment instruments are there in PhonePe. That's how PhonePe is making money. And yes, loans is anyway there. Like in India's fintech, most companies are making money by disbursing loans. Amazing. Amazing. We have a very smart audience here. Amazing. Okay. By the way, smart audience reminds me, we did a podcast recently, okay, with four design dhurandhars. In case you haven't watched it yet, the two of the episodes are out. You should definitely watch it. Chalo, let's come back to the presentation and the session today. Huh. Okay. So, what is today's case study? Okay, today I'm going to help you understand and break down one problem. Okay, and I would expect that out of the 733 people that are here, I would expect at least seven of you would actually go ahead and try, because if you solve this problem, the way I'm going to approach the solution today, this is not there in PhonePe. Like PhonePe hasn't solved it yet. Okay. But if you solve it, trust me, it is going to be an amazing case study for your portfolio. So whoever is still on the process of building a portfolio and is looking for good quality case study ideas, I'm going to give you part one today. You can actually start solving it, and if you come with your solution in the next workshop, which is 8 days later, I will actually review your solutions live inside the session. Okay? Chalo. Now let's move ahead with the solution. Sorry, with the case study. The problem statement. Problem statement kya hai? Yeah. Okay. The problem statement is there is a feature inside PhonePe, okay, and it's actually previously it used to be called Gold SIP. Now they have changed the names because even they are trying to solve this problem. Okay, so the feature used to be called, back when I was in PhonePe, we used to call it Gold SIP. Okay, which is you can invest a fixed amount of money in digital gold either daily or monthly. It is a disciplined investment, right? Just like you invest in mutual funds, you do SIPs, you can also use gold as an instrument. Okay, now gold has anyway been considered as a very important instrument, right? फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट इट्स अ वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑल्सो. हमारे पेरेंट्स तो वैसे भी गोल्ड के लिए बहुत ज्यादा नो एक्साइटेड रहते हैं गोल्ड खरीदने के लिए. ठीक है, एंड दैट मीन्स के एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑप्शन gold does seem good, but there are a lot of problems, okay, and because of which nobody, I mean, chalo, let's not say nobody, but very few people are actually using PhonePe's Gold SIP feature. Okay, and that is the core problem. The problem is a lot of features, a lot of users could have benefited from Gold SIP feature, but there are numerous number of reasons because of which designers are not, okay, I don't know why I keep on saying wrong words. Users are not able to invest in Gold SIP as of today. Now, to solve this, if we just had to solve this problem, there could be so many ways, right? There could be so much wrong with uh, Gold SIP. ठीक है, there could be so many things. Now, okay, just one call out. Just because chat is active, some people keep on asking very random questions. Okay, let's stick to the discussion, right? I'm constantly monitoring chat, so if you guys ask me questions to related to what we are discussing right now, I would be immediately picking them and answering. Kuch, some people are just blabbering. Please don't do that. Okay, chalo, let's stick to this. Okay, what could be the reason that people are not investing in gold SIP today? And then what could be potential solutions. ठीक है? Paytm has a great way of diverting your attention to gold SIP on their platform. Just a thought, amazing. As someone who's worked on gold pod in PhonePe, I can attest what Rajat is mentioning here. Oh, Kostav, hey man, thanks. There's a problem of trust. Eh, Of course, 100%. Why does PhonePe charge? It is their revenue. Yes, okay, interesting, interesting. By showing as a discoverability issue. Yes, discoverability 100%, 100% discoverability issue है. But imagine, PhonePe का most used flow, right? What is PhonePe's most used flow? That is QR code payment का thank you screen. No matter what, you stay till you see the thank you screen. ठीक है? So discoverability can definitely be solved by, let's just say, putting a ingress or entry point to this there. Yes. Okay. ठीक है. Amazing. Discoverability. What comes after the feature is discovered, guys? चलो. Answer me in this chat. The moment a feature is discovered, what happens next? Yes. Okay. Guys, move to the next question. Yes. Okay. What happens after discovery? Activation. Easy onboarding, yes, amazing. Onboarding happens right after you actually right after discovery. Amazing. Okay, what will happen after onboarding, by the way? What will happen after onboarding? I'm just saying my conversion. Conversion is a very general term, yaar, matlab, but I understand conversion. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. ठीक है, चलो. After onboarding, you could say conversion, or better word would be adoption, but okay. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned adoption, Vishnu. Yes. Okay, adoption is a better word, right? People actually explore it. Or for our feature, we could also say कि after discovery onboarding, then we can also say onboard exploration, right? And then people go towards checkout, which results in some conversion. ठीक है, बढ़िया. Okay, amazing यार. Audience बहुत अच्छी है हमारी. ठीक है. तो now let's understand this. Okay, if you're actually solving this problem as a designer at PhonePe, number one thing that you should never do or should never even think of doing is trying to solve the entire problem. What is not the solution here? Redesigning the entire feature is not the solution here. Okay, redesigning the entire feature is definitely not the solution here. Ideally, what we try to do is we try to break the problem down into different stages, and then we try to solve individual parts, and then we stitch a solution. Okay, why do we solve individual parts, by the way? If you try to solve everything in one go, you will never be able to run quality experiments. Okay, when you actually break down the problem and solve it in parts, you're able to run careful A/B testing experiments and learn from them. That is why the goal of today's session is, now start imagining, if I was your product manager and you guys were the designers, and I came to you and told you that, guys, we have discovered that people are out of people, right, who are able to discover these features, right? Out of people who are able to discover these, there's a very small amount of people who are actually ending up exploring this feature. Okay? Remember this. I, as a product manager, I'm consciously telling you, okay, you know what? Discoverability is a major issue, but there are other ways we are trying to solve discoverability. You, as a designer, let's say Vishnu as a designer, uh, your problem is I want you to solve onboarding of the feature. Okay? Because we have discovered that maybe awareness for gold SIP, lack of trust for the platform, okay, lack of information for gold SIP, like ये क्या होता है, right? There are a lot of problems that we're facing, and me as a product manager believes that you as a designer, right? You particular one, okay, should be solving onboarding to actually kind of address these issues. The rest of the things, right, are being taken care of by other designer. Okay. Now, in this, I want to add some more context, by the way. Okay. Before we move ahead, let me add one more context. Let's just imagine that this is Diwali season. Okay, it is Diwali season, and in Diwali, people are generally more susceptible to buying gold. So now imagine me as a product manager, I'm coming to you as a designer and saying, "Ki bro, Diwali is about to come. People will anyway be heavily susceptible to buying gold. Out of other things that we are trying, I want you to design a new onboarding experience, maybe taking care of this Diwali angle, right? Putting this Diwali angle in it, and then encouraging people to invest in gold SIP." Okay, that's the problem statement. Can we encourage, can we increase the conversion during onboarding or reduce the drop offs during onboarding, okay, for this Diwali month, okay, by making some changes here. Okay, is this clear? Yeah. SIP literacy, बहुत ही crazy discussion चल रहा है भाई, मतलब oh my god, I'm so proud of my chat. Yeah. अरे यार तुम लोग पेटीएम को बैश मत करो प्लीज. Okay, user is not in a well-building mindset while using PhonePe is a myth. While using PhonePe is a myth, or I would say hypothetical assumption, the data captured, the data reveals something else which might shock you. Yes. ठीक है? So again, chalo. Now let's start to understand this. Now, let's see some screens. Before this session, I went ahead and tried to discover this feature. Okay. When I tried to do this, I found that the gold SIP feature has been renamed now. It is being called daily gold savings, or there is a monthly investment option also. Okay. So the gold SIP term is not being used in the current PhonePe app. It was being used in the app when I was there. Okay. But, and by the way, I intentionally opened this feature from my sister's phone so that she would not have done anything, or she would never have explored. She actually has never explored this feature, so that there is no onboarding here. Okay, I just wanted to make it clear to myself that is there any onboarding? No. Right now, in this, I did not find any onboarding. Now, okay. Now, before we move ahead, I want you guys to actually go to PhonePe app and make sure you are also seeing these two sections. Okay. Yeah, if you go to home page, right, you scroll, you will see them, here. Okay. There's a gold and silver section. You can actually see this. Okay. One very interesting question. Jasreen Kaur, what if user skips the onboarding screen? Jasreen, it is on you as a designer to decide the construct of the onboarding screen. If you feel that it is better to educate the user before they move ahead, you can make the onboarding non-skippable. And it is done so many times, and for a certain type of users it is a legit technique to make sure people are understanding, people are going through the onboarding first before they actually use the feature. So it's not like a user can skip the onboarding. You can make the onboarding unskippable if you feel it is going to help the user. Okay. Mihir is saying marketing mismatch. 4Pay markets itself as a self payment app. Users will never have this mindset while using PhonePe app. ये क्या है? By the name itself dropping the user. यार तुम लोग थोड़ा सा okay. um ठीक है. Mihir has mentioned a very interesting angle to this, okay, and that is marketing mismatch. PhonePe is marketing itself as a payment app. ठीक है, चलो. As a business, Mihir, for you specifically, a business starts differently and diversifies differently. A business needs to maintain one, its identity, but it needs to explore potential revenue models. PhonePe markets itself even today as a payments app because that is their top of the funnel. That is how they are coming to the app. Okay, that's their that's their goal. If somebody thinks of making a payment, their first thought should be PhonePe, and by that they have been able to get around 48% market share, even though they were the last in this race. Paytm was the first, Google Pay was the second, PhonePe was the third, and still they have been able to become the number one player in the payments mindset. But even PhonePe people know, right? PhonePe CEO knows that making payments does not help the organization, it only helps the user. So they are exploring other ways of making money. Okay? So marketing mismatch maybe, but marketing can be changed. Marketing is on you. You don't have to market the whole product always. If there is a specific part of the product that you want, to create awareness of, you can actually create a new marketing campaign. Okay? It's how PhonePe started, but that does not mean that PhonePe will remain only a payment app because that's not sustainable. Okay? Yes, okay, बहुत ही सही. Anup, you have mentioned a very good problem. Okay, very good problem, and that is people don't understand the long-term value of small SIP amounts. This is exactly what you will have to address in this. Okay, this is exactly what you will have to address in this. Chalo. Now, can you guys quickly confirm that you guys have seen these same screens on the PhonePe app? Did you guys go and check? Mm, 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 mm. Mm. ठीक है. I'll tell you one thing, by the way. So many of you are just criticizing PhonePe. Okay, oh, why would PhonePe users think about this? If they have to invest, they would anyway trust platforms like Grow, etc., etc. Think about it for a second. Become the designer working at PhonePe. You're actually giving me consumer thoughts. I know consumer thoughts. But if you were hired inside PhonePe, and if I actually came to you as a product designer, would you be saying the same thing to me? Oh, no, no, I can't design this feature because people are using Grow. When Grow did not exist, people were using something else. People are using Grow today because it's the best thing to use today. Okay, people may not be using growth tomorrow because something else would come up. And you, as a designer, and me, as a product manager, we have the capacity to shape that perspective. Okay? So we are in a product discussion. I wanted to actually make that mental model shift. So many of you are just saying, ki, oh, why would people do this? There is this problem, there is this problem. Bro, fix the problem. How do you fix the problem? If you are a designer, you are in line for someday maybe becoming a designer in, PhonePe or Paytm. Every fintech app has such problems, okay, which are challenges. I'm giving you an option, I'm giving you an opportunity to start thinking, okay? So stop criticizing PhonePe, okay, and start looking for solutions so that you can actually make a case study on this and actually get inside PhonePe. That's the goal. Okay? Chalo. I hope you have seen. Some people have said that, yeah, they have seen this. Amazing. Chalo. Now, let's move further. Okay? Let me introduce a framework to you guys. Okay? Exactly, yaar. So many people. Good. Can I recap this? Acha. Okay, chalo, let me quickly recap. I mean, we haven't discussed much so far. We have only set up the problem context, and that is we're trying to discuss a problem. The problem is PhonePe has a feature of allowing or enabling the user to invest in gold as a daily SIP or as a monthly SIP. But the feature right now is not being used. Now, there could be multiple problems behind the feature not being used today. Yes, discovery is a problem. So many people don't know that this feature exists. After discovery, the second problem is not having a good enough onboarding, right? Not having an onboarding that can make people aware of the benefits, kind of build trust, right? Being able to give people a vision of how on SIP will help them in the future. All of these are also not there. And that is why today I am only discussing onboarding. Okay, which is how do we solve the onboarding or what do we solve in the onboarding of PhonePe's Gold SIP feature so that we can increase the conversion. Now, the added benefit, right, or the added constraint or the added insight is you can imagine that the Diwali month is coming up, right? And we want to use the positive sentiment around gold to encourage people to invest in gold SIPs inside PhonePe app. Now, start thinking like you are a designer inside PhonePe app. Okay, get rid of your biases immediately, get rid of all the reasons people would not use this, and start thinking in the terms of how can we encourage people to actually use this. That's the recap. Okay. Sage is asking, how are we deciding that the onboarding is a problem? Imagine me as a product manager. I have done the data analysis and I'm saying, okay, okay, there is a drop off in this point. Now, okay, so imagine me as your source of data for now, and let's kind of start discussing this. Okay? कौन है? Ashish Khan, it's starting to be a bit boring. Please go a little faster. Ashish Khan, I'm not here to entertain you. You can leave the stream. ठीक है? If you are actually so good, definitely whoever is getting bored, please leave the stream. Okay? Not here to entertain anyone. Anyways, करते चलो. Yeah, so these are the screens, and then now we'll see a framework. Okay? The framework is called jobs to be done. What happens is when we start to think about breaking down the problem, okay, most people assume that we as designers, right, who are working in these companies, we just know this, right? We just know कि सही solution क्या होगा. But the thing is that we are actually never really sure whatever we think is right or wrong. And that's why when we are in doubt, okay, we always try to use some sort of thinking framework, some ideation framework, okay, so that we can actually force our brain to come up with good ideas. Okay, because let me tell you, the bias of human brain is we are programmed to have the fight or flight behavior. ठीक है, अंडरस्टैंड दिस, ये बहुत ही नुआंस चीज है बट बहुत ही कम लोग समझ पाते हैं. ठीक है, why should you never offer an immediate solution, right? If a problem is coming to you, you as a human are programmed for a fight or flight behavior. अगर मैं तुम्हारे आगे कोई प्रॉब्लम बोलूंगा, तुम बोलोगे यार बेकार प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? सम पीपल हु आर डिस्कसिंग ना कि ओ फोन पे, दिस इज द रीजन के फोन पे इज मार्केटेड एज दिस ऐप, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, पीपल वुड यूज ग्रो. दैट्स योर फ्लाइट बिहेवियर. You saw a problem and you were like, no, I don't think this is worthy of me. Let me avoid it. Then the other one is fight. Fight people are immediately like, oh no, no, onboarding nahi, trust ka issue hai. Which is you immediately offered a solution. So you decided to fight. This fight or flight behavior does not help you as a designer. As a designer, you need to calm down these biases और आराम से सोचना है. असली प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना है अगर, तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा पेशेंटली होकर के सोचना पड़ेगा. इसलिए, ठीक है, इसलिए आराम से बैठ करके ये जॉब्स टू बी डन फ्रेमवर्क समझो. ये मतलब लास्ट कुछ सालों से आई हैव बीन डूइंग दिस एज अ मेंटल एक्सरसाइज. तो if you guys have heard of a book called The Innovator's Dilemma, the writer of that book actually came up with the framework, which is jobs to be done. ये framework क्या बोलता है? This framework says people don't people don't buy products, ठीक है? People don't buy products because of features. People only buy products because they have a job that they want the product to do. Simple, right? People have a problem, they want the product to solve the problem. And he defines it as the jobs to be done. ठीक है? Now, in general, uh, there are like three levels to this, ठीक है, जो कि हम आगे देखते हैं, ठीक है, jobs to be done. But just remember, okay, which is jobs to be done framework is saying people don't want features, they don't care what features do you have. People only want the product to get a job done, which is people only care about the benefits. ठीक है? चलो. Oops. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Let me give you also an example, and we will use this jobs to be done framework to actually break down this problem. ठीक है? चलो. Now, let's say jobs to be done framework का example लेते हैं. You are a company that makes a drill machine. ठीक है? You can actually make holes in the wall. ठीक है? Now, if you're only advertising that okay, we have a drill and you can actually make a hole using this in your wall, right? You're not really addressing the core problem. ठीक है? User will not know what job they can actually do if they buy this drill. What is the actual goal or the benefit of buying a drill for somebody? That is, they will be able to hang a picture, right? Why would they want to make a hole in the wall? Because they might want to hang a picture. Now, why do they want to hang a picture? Because they want some emotional feeling, right? They want to feel like I'm at home, right? This is my safe space. That is like a social and emotional gain. So now we have gone from actually buying a drill or trying to sell a drill which can make a hole to actually making the person feel that they are at their home. So imagine drill is connected to emotional validation, emotional satisfaction. Okay, this is how you use the framework jobs to be done to think. Somebody is mentioning we use first principle thinking. 100% think of jobs to be done as a framework or as a system to force your brain to do first principle thinking. Okay, we are definitely doing first principle thinking. Okay, somebody is saying they're getting ads in the live session. I had no idea, bro. I mean, I'm a very new streamer. Okay. We can add a feature, buying gold from the PhonePe wall. Amazing. Okay. Yes. Perfect. ठीक है. Now let's come here. ठीक है? Jobs to be done framework actually has three structures or three layers. First is the functional layer. ठीक है? Which is uh, what is the user trying to complete? ठीक है? What task is this user trying to complete? Now, for our example, which is gold SIP example, the user is trying to start investing in gold regularly. That is the functional layer of the job to be done. Then, second, emotional. What is the emotional layer of jobs to be done for gold SIP? That is, how do they want to feel if they actually invest in? Generally, every user who would be, investing in this emotionally, they would want to feel financially responsible. And once they have done this, they would like to be less anxious about the future. So that is the emotional layer of jobs to be done. Third is social layer. Social is if I do this task, how does this change things around me? Okay, which is third layer, right? Functional is me typically doing stuff, emotional is me going within, and then social is me trying to imagine the benefit of doing this or buying this thing around me. When somebody is investing in gold SIP, social benefit क्या होगा? Social benefit is they can now go and brag to their friends. Imagine your father. Okay, your father has been wanting to invest in gold, but if he realizes that you know what, investing in gold. Oh, did I lose the network? Oops. Investing in gold. Okay, 1 second. Let me check. I think I may have lost the network for a minute. No. Yeah, okay. I think things are going good. Let me continue. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if your father buys gold, imagine how happy he would be to brag with his friends that uh, that I have invested in gold via PhonePe Gold SIP. Why? Because it is a much better option than buying hardcore gold. Right? I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about actually keeping the gold and its security. I don't have to, kind of maintain it. डर में रख रहे हैं कि तिजोरी खरीदना पड़ेगा, all of that, right? I don't have to buy a safe, and then it is available to me, right? I have gold. ठीक है चलो. So these three layers, which is functional layer, emotional layer, and social layer, this is how you're supposed to think about any feature. ठीक है? If you're using jobs to be done framework, and yes, it's an example, it's also a tool to do first principles thinking. Now let's start applying this to actually gold SIP, which is who is actually opening, right? Who are these people who are opening gold SIP during Diwali season, right? PhonePe gold SIP feature during Diwali season. I have now tried to create two personas. And imagine this is a feature where having personas actually helps because we know PhonePe has a 600 million users, more than 600 million users का registered database. 60 करोड़ लोगों ने केवाईसी कर रखी है, गांव गांव में फोन पे यूज होता है, राइट? एंड दिस फीचर इज अवेलेबल टू एवरीबॉडी. When you have such a big product, you do have to think about who could be target audience for your feature. तो अभी मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि ओके यू नो व्हाट, मैं गांव के लोगों को, यार आई एम नॉट टारगेटिंग पीपल इन टियर 3 4. Why? It will be really hard for me to actually force them to buy gold digitally. All the issues of awareness discoverability are tenfold there, but I can definitely encourage people in tier 1 cities because they are primed already, right? They are much more aware, and I can try to actually encourage people in tier 2 cities, which is Kanpur, Lucknow, all of these cities, right? Allahabad. These people might also be susceptible, so these are going to be our target audience. First is 24-year-old person in Bangalore, right? Imagine some of you guys, right? Which is you guys just got a job, you are here, and now you have a good salary in Bangalore, so you want to start investing. Now let's imagine what is the functional layer of job to be done for this feature. That is, you just want to save money. Why? Because you just got a Diwali bonus. Diwali bonus aa raha hai, you want to actually invest it. Then, what is the emotional layer? Emotional layer is you as a 24-year-old would want to feel like you're now an adult or you're doing adulting properly. Right? कि हाँ मैं responsible बच्चा हूँ. I am a responsible kid. ठीक है? And then social benefit is you being the youngest person in your team would have bragging rights among your colleagues that, you know what, guys, are you investing somewhere? I've been seeing this. I started investing in gold SIP via PhonePe. I saw this feature, felt like the right thing. Now you have bragging rights. ठीक है? So this is the jobs to be done for a 24-year-old in Bangalore. What is the persona 2? Imagine a 38, 40-year-old person who is married and responsible, ठीक है, but living in a tier 2 city. I I did not take the 24-year-old person's persona in tier 2 because generally I know that younger people, 24, 28-year-old, living in tier 2, 3 cities may still be struggling in their careers, right? They may not have enough financial capacity to start investing. But somebody who is in 35 to 40, who is married, who has kids, that person has definitely started to think about investments, right? So imagine we have already sorted some personas, and again for the workshop I had to, otherwise if we were actually sitting together we would have done a longer exercise. Now for a 32-year-old married person, right, living in Lucknow, what is the functional benefit? The functional benefit for them is they are building a safety net for their family. Okay, and this is not an emotional layer, by the way. This is not an emotional layer for a 24-year-old. This is would be an emotional layer, jobs to be done. But for a 30-year-old person, it's common for them to actually building a safety net for their family. That is why for them it's a functional benefit only. For them, the emotional benefit is they would have reduced their own anxiety about the financial uncertainty. ठीक है? So just building the safety net is not enough. Their emotional benefit is I need less headache यार. ठीक है? मेरे I have two, three kids, I have wife, I have parents. I just want less anxiety. And there is very subtle difference in this. But if you're actually onboarding somebody to a platform, these differences are so freaking important. Last, social benefit, and that is fulfill the cultural duty of buying gold for festivals. This is important. In tier 2, 3 cities, people discuss फेस्टिवल में कितना सोना खरीदा क्या खरीदा राइट anybody who among this live stream if you are from a tier 2 3 city you would know that the moment akshay tritiya comes your papa your mom right they start discussing ke, oh you know what let's buy this for this festival this for that festival right so diwali also has that which is feeling fulfilling the cultural duty and this is not that much prominent in tier 1 cities bangalore mein nobody is just like oh you know what I am a 24 28-year old guy I think I should fulfill the cultural duty of buying gold in festival but in tier 2 cities it is important okay now imagine these are some jobs to be done framework applications okay that I have come up with for my different personas so we are now starting to break this down okay gold equals to status symbol 100% man 100% okay now let's drill down even further and that is what is the problem with the generic onboardings okay because if you guys today saw that feature when I asked you guys to open your PhonePe app you would have seen there was actually no onboarding okay Krish bhai keep your questions I will be taking questions we are gonna be done in 10-15 minutes we'll be taking questions ठीक है तो repaste your questions in 10 minutes now what are the problems with generic onboardings generic onboarding के साथ में problem क्या है that might tell you okay what is gold SIP and this I'm talking this is written from the previous matlab some mix of previous onboarding and whatever is the copy so based on that I've written this okay it might tell you what is gold SIP how do you set it up and the steps to complete okay but then what it does not tell you with generic onboarding is why should you as an individual care for it and that too you particularly right not just anybody or any user of PhonePe why should you care then second question is why is now the right time because every month every single day the feature is accessible it should also tell you right it can be beneficial if it tells you why is today the right time for this and then how can this how can this be connected how can this onboarding experience be connected to something that you already want ठीक है how can I make sure to connect this gold SIP to something else that you already want and you think oh you know what if I actually do gold SIP that task would also be done or I would be closer to finishing that task ठीक है चलो now this is the call out generic onboarding optimizes for completion most onboardings actually do they just optimize for completion but great onboarding experiences optimize for conviction and conviction only comes when you have like this proper personalization ठीक है चलो now let me give you one more framework and make sure okay, if you actually make a case study on this you make sure to include these frameworks because most people when they write their case study they just end up writing design thinking फिर इंटरव्यू में कोई इज्जत नहीं करता ठीक है in design thinking is not the only framework to follow I've given you one framework first and now I'm giving you second framework now AIPSO इस framework का नाम है AIPSO okay the framework is audience insight point system and output ठीक है now let's understand this framework okay and remember this by the way it's better if you understand this framework and do this planning before jumping into Figma because that is true product thinking ठीक है that is true product thinking that we will be teaching in product anatomy by the way in case you have forgotten okay that is the kind of this is the kind of product thinking we'll be covering in प्रोडक्ट थिंकिंग। ठीक है। नाउ व्हाट इज द फ्रेमवर्क? नंबर वन, audience. Start from understanding your audience. You can map your users by uh, like by their jobs to be done. ठीक है, rather than actually just mapping by their demographics. That's the problem. ठीक है, people are just creating persona. This person is there. When I created the persona, okay, let's just double click on this. Map your users not by demographics but by their jobs to be done. You think in this persona, right? These two persona that I created, ठीक है, you think these two personas that I've created are actually just made by demography, Bangalore versus Lucknow? No, they're actually separate because of these jobs to be done. ठीक है, these two people have different jobs to be done from gold SIP. ठीक है, चलो, now so step number one, audience layer. Sort the audience layer. Map users not by their demographics but by their jobs to be done. Second, insight. Identify where is the friction. Where is the friction for each user? What is the real reason they are dropping off and not going through? For our feature, right? Is the trust the reason? Is complexity of making a gold SIP investment the reason? Is it irrelevant for people, or is the timing just off? The person does not have money today, but if we had shown it to them in the right time, maybe they would have gotten this. Okay? Then third step, intervention, point of intervention. So audience insight point. Where exactly in this journey are you gonna intercept them? ठीक है? Which is they open the app, want to make a QR code payment. You have this feature that you want them to use. You want to sell them this feature. Where do you bring out this intervention? ठीक है? क्यूआर, रिमेंबर वी डिस्कस कि क्यूआर कोड का सक्सेसफुल स्क्रीन जो है, राइट, यूपीआई पेमेंट का जो सक्सेस स्क्रीन है, वहां पर हम डेफिनेटली दिखा सकते हैं कि यू नो व्हाट, डू गोल्ड एसआईपी, बट देन दैट्स जस्ट इंक्रीजिंग द डिस्कवरेबिलिटी. आफ्टर डिस्कवरेबिलिटी व्हाट हैपेंस? अगर if we don't change anything in the onboarding, right, the way the current onboarding is, where there is no information, there would be no motivation for people. ठीक है, like when they come here, and that is why also like coming up with more points of intervention will help you. Like next पे चल देते, चलो, personalization layers, which is if we are making onboarding and we are trying to make onboarding personal. For example, Surbhi Prajapati, okay, Surbhi Prajapati is saying कि you know what, मेरे को ऑनबोर्डिंग अगर कुछ ऐसा पर्सनल मिल जाता, राइट, इफ आई हैड गॉटन अ पर्सनल ऑनबोर्डिंग वेयर द मैसेज मे हैव सेड समथिंग दैट वुड हैव टच्ड मी, देन आई माइट हैव, बिकॉज आई हैव मनी टू इन्वेस्ट. ठीक है, that is the personalization that we're talking about. What are we going to personalize? Are we going to personalize the copy of the onboarding, right? Text, the illustration. Are we going to personalize social proof? Meaning, if we can identify that Surbhi is 24 to 28-year-old, how about we show her some testimonials of other people who between the age of 24 to 28 who have invested in this? ठीक है, what can be, or the value framing, which is how do we communicate the value to each and every individual differently? Is it possible? These are all the personalization levers. You can use a combination of two or three out of these and then solve it. Next, system design. This is very important. This is not design system, by the way. This is system design, which is you having a systematic overview of how this thing will be executed. You can do it by your own. You can actually use it. You can discuss it with your stakeholders. How will this be scaled? PhonePe has 600 million people, meaning 60 crore people. Even if 1 crore people are going to land on this feature, are we gonna make 1 crore onboarding messages? Are we gonna make 1 crore illustrations? Definitely not. But then that's the systemization part. How do we systemize that we are able to do this personalization and we still don't have to deal with infinite scale? Okay? Which is, can we create some templates for onboarding and change some data using AI. That could be one thing, right? We create some templates, use AI and the KYC data that we have of the consumer to actually come up with an AI assisted application, AI assisted feature, or we go full blown generative AI. Okay, like we go full blown generative AI. We figure out a way to just ask people two three questions on the onboarding, and then we give them a full blown custom onboarding. Could be, I don't know how that will look like, but we are just brainstorming right now, right? So these are the five steps of the framework called AIPSO that you can use to solve this problem, starting from audience to insight, where you're identifying the friction, to point of intervention, to personalization levels, to system design. Okay. And by the way, this framework is specially for onboarding. Okay, this is not a design thinking framework. This is an onboarding framework. And again, if you come to Molecule, we will show you more and more such frameworks of doing onboarding, acquisition, retention, referrals, things that actually only product managers know, but they don't tell you. And that is why you have to be kind of always relying on them to come and give you the give you the right benefit. Okay, or give you the right data basically. Okay, so product thinking or product anatomy course of product anatomy molecule is designed in a way that we will give you an edge over your product managers. ठीक है चलो now I'm gonna quickly give you some kind of I'm gonna summarize this. ठीक है I'm just summarizing this so that later on you guys can rewatch this and attempt this as a case study. I'm taking a lot of assumptions right now, by the way. Okay, I'm taking a lot of assumptions again for the sake of the session. If we are working one on one in a session, right, in product anatomy or somewhere else, then we would be doing this day by day. We would not be doing it one day. This is more like a 7 day thing that I'm giving you. Okay. Mm, yeah, chalo. Okay, let's quickly do a drill down on the audience layers. Who are the potential audience for this feature? Okay, and remember, we are not doing the demographic segmentation. Okay, we are not doing the demographic segmentation. ठीक है, we are doing emotional readiness and cultural context के हिसाब से. ठीक है, तो there could be people who are first time buyers. ठीक है, people who have never invested, they don't know where to start. What are these people going to look for in the onboarding? These people want safety and simplicity. Second type of buyer, the festive buyer. These people are who are buying physical gold every single Diwali, and then digital gold feels unfamiliar to them because they can't hold it. They like buying gold. What do they need? They need something that is resonating to the cultural significance of buying digital gold, right? They want their cultural resonance reflected in the experience. If I can make buying digital gold feel like buying physical gold, I give them a digital coin, I give them a digital bar, and they have a closet inside the app where they can, see their digital gold. That's the kind of cultural resonance they are looking for. Then this anxious planner, which is these people are mid-career. Okay, they have a lot of dependents. Okay, which is the married people, especially they're worried about the future. What do these people want? These people want security framing, right? And this is all for onboarding. These people want security framing. ठीक है, lastly, the optimizer. Who are these feature? These are people who are very aware about all the investments, but then these people are diversifying. So they might already be investing in mutual funds. They just want to diversify. These people don't have any emotional context with this. They are looking for data and performance logic, which is these people want to see projections of how far I will be, in 20 years. What is the number of benefits basically, right? Number on benefits and percentages gains that I'm looking at if I invest in digital SIP. Take a digital gold SIP. Now imagine four kinds of people, four different needs, four different jobs to be done, four different requirements from the onboarding experience. ठीक है चलो Now, identifying the friction. I have written some friction for all four types of audiences so that it helps you all in the case study. And that is first time buyers. What is the surface level reason that they have for dropping off? That is, yeah, I don't understand this, right? That's the reason. If a first time buyer is dropping off in the onboarding, what is the real jobs to be done blocker that they have? They are afraid that what if I end up making a mistake in this? Okay, and this is only true for first time buyers. What if I end up making a mistake? That's their primary fear. What about the festive buyer? Festive buyer ka surface reason, right? What is the surface reason for drop off? Digital gold doesn't feel real, yaar. Okay, but what is their real blocker? Their real blocker is trust, because this digital gold is not the gold that they are familiar, and that is why they don't trust this enough. Next, anxious planner. They are like, I'll just do it later, man. ठीक है, this anxious planner, this person has so many things going on in their life. ठीक है, बच्चे की फीस, school, blah blah blah, right? This person is like, yaar, I have to do it, but I'll just see it later. What is the real blocker? They are overwhelmed. They have too many decisions to make. So their requirement is different. Next up, optimizer. Optimizer person, right? Data driven person. That person is on the surface, they are like a what is the return on this in 20 years if I do this? But the real blocker is they would have loved to see data to justify switching to digital gold from physical gold. Okay, so these are four different friction points for different audiences. Now let's quickly go through 4 points of interventions. Okay, I wanted to see if I was able to cover the session faster. I would have gone through them in a lot more detail, but again, we'll do it in product anatomy anyways. So what is the point of intervention? Let's understand this, and that is we can't personalize every single screen. Okay, but we have number of interventions, different number of interventions throughout the product, throughout the journey, and we can actually pull different levers. Okay, so imagine this: discovery and interest. Okay, where can we put in an intervention for gold? Maybe we can actually add a banner on home screen. This could be our discovery banner. Okay, this could be our discovery banner. We can do something in the gold screen, or we could do something in the this gold section ka entry point. That section also we can do, right? If somebody clicks on this, it clicks on one of those options, then also we can do something. Okay, this is how you're creating awareness, this is how you're creating interest, and this is we are actually going towards AIDA framework, which is awareness, interest, desire, action. Again, one of the frameworks that we'll be covering. Okay. Now, how do we or when do we do this trust thing? Which is immediately after KYC confirmation, right? Not everybody who is in PhonePe has completed KYC. What if they do a KYC and right after their KYC, right? Because they are in the trust zone. What if we put something like this there? Oh, now that you have completed KYC, would you like to either do a UPI payment or explore digital gold? That's also one thing. Okay. And then last is this post transaction moment, which is again what we talked about. Once a user has completed the payment, they're in the thank you screen, we can also start this intervention here. Okay. Personally, I mean, I wanted to focus on point three, but yeah, okay, we are getting a little late. You guys can actually cover all of these in your case studies. Okay. Next up is actual personalization layers, which is what are the different levels of personalization you can do. You can personalize the hero message, okay, which is going to be the first sentence that they read. This should ideally speak directly to their job to be done. Okay. For first time users, you could say start small, 100 rupees per month. Your future self will thank you. Okay. But for an optimizer, which was the fourth persona, you could say things like gold digitally, no making charges, no shortage risk, and pure returns, and then show them a graph. Right? Imagine different possibilities. ठीक है? Can you give more examples on system designs or Ishani, this session is really small. That is why we are doing product anatomy. ठीक है? I would love to have you there. ठीक है? I would give you in number of examples. I'm really sorry यार. मतलब the sessions usually have limitations. तो now, okay. So now, yeah, next up, illustrations. Yes, you can actually create custom illustrations for all four personas. ठीक है? Last is social proof. You can create different social proofs for all of these people. ठीक है? ईशा एआई आ रहे हैं हम एआई पे, रुक जाओ. Okay. Last is this system design layer, which is you can actually start designing this onboarding experience from manual templates. Okay, you can start designing from first a manual template. In level 2, you can actually go towards AI assisted workflow. For example, you can actually use AI to generate not just four versions of this copy, but maybe 40 or 400 or 4000, right? You can also use AI to generate these illustrations or different social proofs. You can actually fetch from data. ठीक है? So if you actually wanted Hack God product anatomy course is 50 rupees, 50,000. No, it's way cheaper than that. Anyways, you can actually use data, you can use AI, combine them to actually generate a heavily personalized onboarding experience. Okay. And lastly is you can think of going fully generative. I will cover these things in the next session. What are the different solutions that I would have proposed for this level 1 and level 3, sorry, level 2 and level 3 thing? That those are going to be covered in the next session. Okay? I'm leaving these things right now to you. This is the summary, by the way. Okay? This is the summary for this whole Diwali Gold SIP campaign. ठीक है फोन पे generally might know your age and city whether you have done the KYC or not, your existing transaction patterns, right? Whether have you looked at the gold section or not. The system might also know that which kind of audience are you, what are your real frictions, right? What messaging will resonate with you, and then we can use the whole 5-step framework to actually come up with ideas and then execute this onboarding as a case study. ठीक है चलो now we are wrapping up this session and then we're moving towards Q&A quickly. ठीक है I want you guys to truly think like a product designer. ठीक है in the last 5 years that I've been mentoring designers, I am literally tired of explaining to designers so many obvious mistakes that they have done. I totally support the approach of learning from YouTube. I have learned from YouTube. But in 2026, learning from YouTube will only make you a UI designer. You cannot become a product designer by just learning from YouTube. You would need somebody to work with you. It could be somebody in your company. If they decide to work with you, mentor you, guide you 100% better. But if you have not found that person yet and you want to break into real product design, I am there for you. Product anatomy is there for you. Okay. But please don't do UI designer thinking. Stop doing it today. AI is a much better designer than most of you. Okay. I'm telling you guys, I can give prompts that do better design than me. ठीक है तो most of us are replaceable if we are only doing UI designing. That is why product is where our moat is. ठीक है we have to become product thinkers. Now this is what we will be covering in the workshop 2. Number 1, we'll be covering my solution. Okay, my solution, how I would have solved this. ठीक है yeah. Second, I'll be covering your solution also. If you guys actually come with your case studies or your solutions, right? You can send me your Figma files, etc. Second, I'll show you the AI workflow that I used for that solution, and trust me, that's gonna be surprisingly good. The things that I'm gonna come up with for the next session. Okay? Oh, we have Physics Wala India here. Oh my God, who is Physics Wala India? If the product is not good, how can you make sure that it doesn't come up? on you as a designer that senior you are a scapegoat. I don't think that's the relevant question for this workshop. Okay, we are discussing a very specific thing. That's a very tangential discussion. If you want my answer on it, please DM me on Instagram. ठीक है, लाइव स्ट्रीम में हम पढ़ने बैठे हैं, एक टॉपिक पे रहने दो मुझे. Anyways, ठीक है, yeah, we'll be doing live feedback there, and then I'll also tell you even more things about product anatomy. Okay, okay. This is it for the session. Now I'm gonna move to full blown Q&A. Now you can start shooting your questions. I am sitting on the chat. Okay. Chalo. First, you guys tell me how was the session? Did you learn something? Okay. I did not want to make it too salesy, but I wanted to give you guys some tangible value so that you can, use it to make a case study. Okay. While you guys are writing questions, and please write good questions. Don't write questions that Chat GPT can answer. You guys are professionals. Okay. Write meaningful questions so that I feel joy in answering them. Let me tell you about product anatomy. Okay. 6 months ago, I actually quit my job and I decided to become a teacher. Okay, 6 months ago. At the time, I was working at Zepto as a product design manager. I was initially working on the design systems. Then I did a few things on the product also. Okay, so I have been a designer overall, I would say for 10 years. Okay, I've been a designer for about 10 years in my career. I've loved teaching. I've been teaching for 5 years, and that is why I decided to go independent and launch the best possible product design academy in India. I believe our courses are amazing. Some of our students are here. Very soon, we'll be uploading their testimonials on the website. You guys would be getting to know कि exactly हम molecule में क्या करते हैं and why is molecule the best place in India right now for learning product design. Personally, I've been a product designer for 10 years. I know most of the founders of product designers. They're my friends. We discuss things often. Okay, how do we teach people better? And that is why I believe my curriculum is the best. And plus, I've tried to make the course not too long. Okay, because these are not beginner courses. These are actually fairly advanced courses. If you are an absolute beginner, you would be finding things way too advanced, and that is why, we cater to professionals. Product anatomy is going to come up soon. It's going to be a 10-week course. ठीक है, one part of it is going to focus extremely heavily on product designing and product thinking. Then the other part of it is going to focus extremely heavily on implementing those things using Figma and using AI. And by the way, because this is an industry professional course, we will be focusing extremely heavy on implementing things using AI because professionals already know how to use Figma. ठीक है, we will be covering things in Figma, but a lot of focus will be there on using things with doing things with AI. ठीक है, about 5 weeks of this course is going to be just me and you connecting 2-3 times a week and building stuff. ठीक है, just us building stuff. ठीक है, by the way, make sure to come on 16th for the workshop because after that on 17th we're gonna start enrollment. We only have a limit of 150 students. I'm the only guy who teaches, by the way. ठीक है, I don't have any extra mentors or anything. If you're my student from morning to night, you're only interacting with me. I don't have anybody assisting me. ठीक है, I'm not one of those courses where you actually pay for somebody else and you have other teachers, etc. No, I'm the only person who teaches. We have a capacity of about 150 students max. उससे ज़्यादा I can't handle. ठीक है, तो if you guys actually want to learn this, ठीक है, I would be happy to have you in the course. ठीक है, now let me start taking the doubts. If you guys have anything, please feel free to shoot me a DM. Course Hindi mein hoga? No. Course will be majorly in English. Sometimes my Hindi slips out, but it will be majorly in English. Or let's just say a mix. I usually try to teach for my audience, so I don't go Hindi. Never. Okay? The fees is going to be revealed on 16th May in the next workshop. Just assume this, just know this. If you go and see the fees of any organization, any boot camp. My fees is going to be one third of what most people are charging for similar boot camps. That's the promise. Okay. It will be one third of what all the other people are charging. That's what I can promise you. We don't do discounts on all. We might do some students discount for sure. If you are a student who is actually working in studying in a college, you have a valid ID proof, we will be definitely giving you some discount. But for professionals, no discount at all. ठीक है. Now let me take questions. बहुत सारे questions हो गए. Do you think everything today we discussed today is basically a part of UX research that AI can help us figure out easily? If we put all of the basic data with a good prompt, Claude can give solutions. Srishti, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you enroll in our cohort, you will see that the first thing that we do when we actually design together is exactly that, which is we take all the data, all the context, and we put it in the AI. Okay. Why? Because we don't end at AI. People who are just ending at the output that is being given by AI are designing extremely cliche looking things. There is no personalization, there is no soul, no context. We do it, get a quick prototype done, and then we try to improve it 10x by actually providing our human input. That's how you stay relevant as a designer in the age of AI. Otherwise, you're just like any of those Instagram and LinkedIn influencers who are like Claude killed this, Claude killed Figma. Claude has not killed Figma. ठीक है. But people who talk like this कि ओ अगर मैं सारा कुछ AI को दे दूं तो वो तो बना ही देगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. ठीक है. Once you come to my sessions on day one, I'll kind of remove this doubt. What is the max you can put to push AI, and then what is the max limit of human generated designs? ठीक है. Would it be possible for you to educate us more on B2B frameworks? That's a fantastic question. I have not worked on B2B, but I have people who will be taking guest sessions, okay, which is outside my curriculum. They will be taking guest sessions. They are people with 15, 20 years of experience in B2B only. Those people will be taking B2B framework sessions, but not me. I don't have experience. How can we make a feature on this case study onboarding by targeting a larger audience? Like, what if 40% would not accept the best solution? Is this a win as a designer? ठीक है, that's a good question, bro. Okay, imagine this. This is number one, this is a concept case study. ठीक है. Number two, what is the baseline right now? Is there an onboarding right now in the feature? Actually, no. ठीक है. Which I would say कि which gives me this hunch, again, not data, hunch, that by onboarding we are looking at an upside, because the actual process of making this payment, making this investment is really small. ठीक है. तो इट्स नॉट लाइक अगर हम ऑनबोर्डिंग डाल देंगे तो उससे कुछ नुकसान होने वाला है. बिकॉज ऑनबोर्डिंग और बिकॉज लैक ऑफ ऑनबोर्डिंग इज लीविंग अ ह्यूज एम्बिगिटी. ठीक है. देर आर मोर चांसेस ऑफ यू इंट्रोड्यूसिंग ऑनबोर्डिंग एंड मेकिंग द प्रोसेस बेटर. Now, to your question, how can we make a feature or in this case an onboarding by targeting a larger audience? That's what we discussed, right? We are trying to actually come up with a larger system of how can we make personalized onboardings. In case you think this is a very small problem, this is a very broad problem, and just being able to solve this, okay, you know what, out of all the four types of audiences, and then coming up with multiple, looking at multiple touch points, and then how do I make a system that feels personal to the user but is also technically easy to implement, right? ये सारा कुछ जब आप सोचोगे ना तो यू वुड रियलाइज कि यार बहुत कुछ है इस प्रॉब्लम में करने को. मैं सोल्यूशन अभी नहीं बताऊंगा. सोल्यूशन मैं अभी नहीं बता रहा. सोल्यूशन के लिए आपको you'll have to come to the next workshop. That's where you will see the solution. Different levels of solution. There's no one solution, by the way. ठीक है. There are different levels of solution, and we will also try to imagine कि oh, you know what, if we were in an organization, how would we have taken that decision on which is the right solution. ठीक है. तो Sage 1991, come to the next workshop. In that time, attempt it. Wealth resilience. You're doing masters in India, and I have no idea how got to know these things from a month, and I'm not able to think I should. Oh, now able to think I should break into things. Thanks, man. Wealth in silence. Great. If you're doing masters in UX, amazing, man. You should definitely then check out our course. Can we get idea? Okay, will it be having a capstone project? There will be a total of three projects, one small, one medium, and one macro project. Third project can be named as capstone project. In general, I believe if people pay proper attention, all three projects would be worthy of your case studies, because there will also be multiple assignments, right? There will be other 5 7 assignments. So these three are like your proper projects. Okay. Okay, you're working as a now I'm thinking about MDes. Please don't do masters, guys. Please don't do masters. Masters are extremely costly, and you get logged in for 2 years with professors who have stopped updating themselves. Okay, I'm not talking about top of the line masters colleges, maybe, but I know the reality of NID, etc. Also, even there, nobody is focusing on the actual tools. Why? Because they are like a tools तो आते जाते रहते हैं, डिजाइन तो चेंज होता नहीं है. That is why they don't teach people Figma also. ठीक है, तो colleges are way behind, especially in terms of tools. And today we are dealing tools. We are dealing with tools. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए मास्टर्स प्लीज डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम एंड मनी. इफ यू एक्चुअली spend that money by yourself on my course, and there are so many other courses, buying AI subscriptions, getting paid mentorship from actually high quality professionals, you would be way ahead in 1 year. Mindset shift from fintech platform to a quick delivery. यार रुचा पाटिल, यार that will be थोड़ा सा longer discussion. I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna take some questions today, but please shoot me these questions on Instagram. ये फिजिक्स वाला इंडिया थोड़ा पागल क्यों हो रखे हैं भाई? एक ही क्वेश्चंस को कितनी बार पेश करना है? स्पैम क्यों कर रहे हैं फिजिक्स वाला इंडिया हमारे चैट को? इफ द प्रोडक्ट इज नॉट गुड, हाउ कैन यू मेक श्योर दैट इफ दैट डजंट कम अप ऑन यू? Number one, we are talking about PhonePe, and PhonePe is a phenomenal product. So I don't know what else you're talking about. Don't work on a bad product, okay? So that you don't become a scapegoat. Physics wala India. Anyways, you said we have a lot of frameworks to do proper research, but in this AI era, how can we minimize the research part? And mostly in companies, ask do research ASAP with ChatGPT. देखो शिवानी, कंपनीज जो बोल रहे हैं उन्हें बोलने दो आप. ठीक है, you as a professional, right, the duty lies on you to come up with your own process. if you think कि AI आ गया है तो कंपनी में आजकल तो रिसर्च तो मिनटों में हो रही होगी, तो ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है, we did a podcast. If you go and see the podcast that is already there in my channel, there is director of design from Mintra, director of design from Flipkart Minutes का ऐप. ठीक है, सीनियर डिजाइन मैनेजर डेल, एवरीबडी सेइंग के एआई के आने से थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग, बट इट्स नॉट कि हमने चुटकी बजाई और थैनोस की तरह रिसर्च खत्म हो गई. ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है, तो प्लीज स्टॉप ट्रीटिंग एआई एज अ मैजिक पिल. एआई इज ओनली ऑगमेंटिंग. इवन अंटिल टुडे इन मोस्ट गुड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इट्स ओनली ऑगमेंटिंग. कोई रेवोल्यूशनरी चेंज नहीं आ रहा है. बहुत टाइम लगेगा, अभी 1 से 2 साल लगेंगे चेंजेस आने में. ठीक है, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है शिवानी कि बिल्कुल रिसर्च खत्म हो जा रही है या एकदम ही मिनिमाइज हो गई है. यू डोंट नीड टू मिनिमाइज द रिसर्च, ये भी मैं बता दे रहा हूं. ठीक है, बिकॉज एआई के आने से एग्जीक्यूशन तो सॉर्ट हो गया. जब एग्जीक्यूशन ऑलरेडी जल्दी हो जा रहा है तो आप रिसर्च भी छोटी कर दोगे. एटलीस्ट रिसर्च तो ढंग से करो. अगर रिसर्च भी छोटी कर दोगे और एग्जीक्यूशन भी छोटा हो गया, तो आपका प्रोडक्ट भी छोटा ही बनेगा फिर. Right, which is basically don't minimize your research. Now that AI is allowing you time to do proper research, focus heavily on research and building your understanding on what is the right problem to solve. ठीक है, Krish is saying I want to have a mentor like you forever. I mean product anatomy के लिए पहले product anatomy के, if you enroll in product anatomy you will have me forever. There is Mayur and so many of my current students are here, they would know. ठीक है, once you enroll in one of my courses you will have me as a mentor forever. What kind of exercise and activities do I suggest to practice our thinking on system design and product thinking? Today we covered two frameworks, jobs to be done. Okay, if you want to actually polish your first principles thinking, just start by this framework. Take one framework and then try to apply it 20 times. Take 20 problem statements and get their jobs to be done. That will help you, right? So it's like you pick a framework and then apply it in 20 places, 30 places. Is it not for beginners, Karan? It is usually not for beginners, or let's just say there are two plans, base plan and pro plan. Base plan is for beginners, pro plan is more suitable for professionals. ठीक है, Abhijit Thakur, social layer relevant in every app. 100% Abhijit. In the jobs to be done framework, social layer is relevant in every app because imagine this, right? If you don't take care of social layer, right, you'll be designing extremely soulless products. You see those delight elements that we put in the products, right? The best of the best examples of delight elements are coming out only when you know and understand the social layer. For example, Zomato में कभी देखा होगा there's an animation of loading animation of pan, they're tossing the pan. Such a good delightful element, right? Why is that important? Because if you go to high quality premium restaurants or you go to a small thela, right? You see food being made, okay? Which is the moment you see that tossing pan, it is reminding you of your food being prepared. This is an example of you incorporating social layer as a delight element. I can also use it in copy. I can use it in illustrations. Okay. Oh my God, there's so many questions. I'm gonna jump back to the bottom immediately and take some questions. How many frameworks will you cover in this course? That's a very stupid question. Cartoons. Okay. Very stupid question. Not gonna answer that. CMU और एक्सफोर्ड जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी में भी ऐसे वाले ही प्रोडक्ट थिंकिंग फ्रेमवर्क सिखाते हैं यार. KM ग्लोबल एक्सपर्ट्स, I have tried. Yes, these are the frameworks. I'll tell you this. All of the universities, these universities, CMU and Oxford, um, professors who have made these frameworks teach there. If they're still alive, they teach there. Okay? That is why they might have even more frameworks that they are testing with their students. तो वो लोग 5 साल टेस्ट करते हैं और उसके बाद में फ्रेमवर्क्स बाहर एज अ बुक आता है. तो हम लोग तो ये बुक पढ़ रहे हैं, बट 100% these frameworks are common across the industry, so they are everywhere. Will this be a live course or you would be sharing recording? This will be a mix of live and recording course. So you actually will be watching recordings and then you will be coming to me, discuss with me in a 3 hour, 4 hour Q&A sessions. Okay? In fact, there are both. Okay? There is some part which is recording heavy because I want you to build your basics first, and then there is some part where there is no recording, we're just sitting for 3 4 hours and then just building stuff. What frameworks to use when? यार ऐसे ब्रॉड क्वेश्चंस तो मत पूछो इतने यार. ये तो ये इस चीज की अंडरस्टैंडिंग, राइट, अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्ड करने में बहुत टाइम लगता है. गूगल्स यूएक्स कोर्स वर्थ राइट नाउ. सी, गूगल का यूएक्स कोर्स इज लिटरली लाइक एबीसीडी, एंड एज अ प्रोफेशनल डिजाइनर यू आर राइटिंग पोएट्री. तो इफ यू आर आस्किंग मी कि पोएट्री लिखने के लिए एबीसीडी करना जरूरी है, यस. ठीक है. In product anatomy we are at poetry level, and that is why I would assume if you have done courses like Google UX course, you have done work for 1 or 2 years, then you would be able to have like extreme benefit of this course. Where can I learn more about the base plan, bro? We are going to launch every single detail on 16th. The website will be out, the post will be out, the video will be out, everything would be launching. I just want you to know that something is coming in 8 days. Okay. Can you do cohort with an ongoing job? Yes. If you can commit 2 days a week for 5 weeks, okay, 2 days a week, 3 hours a day for 5 weeks, you're 100% in the course. Yes, Ajmera, okay, because 70% of my current students are working professionals. 70%. So yes, everybody is doing our courses with industry with their full-time jobs. Any specific masters like MBA or something else if not MDes? यार क्यों करना है मास्टर्स, एक बात बताओ. I don't know why most people feel like एक डिग्री और ले लेंगे तो उनका lack of knowledge solve हो जाएगा. Please don't try to hide behind a degree. ठीक है? Don't try to hide behind a degree. Degrees are giving you 10 times value and taking 20 times fees. ठीक है? Will the session be 3 times a week or twice a week? It will be, some days it will be once a week, some days it will be twice a week, and some days I'll be just doing extra sessions. You can come and attend. Will timing be flexible for working professionals? No. You will be getting recordings always, but not this. Okay. What type of project should I include in my portfolio and how much projects should I add? Bro, add 3 projects which have exact, business level problems. That would be better. What do you think about why some experienced UI designers are not getting jobs after they left their job? Because their experience was not relevant. Jasreen Kaur, the bar has risen. The bar is rising. If you're previous work does not meet the bar today, you would not. And plus, because some of the people are getting laid off, so there are more people ready to work in lesser salaries. That's also the reason. Okay. Struggling for 4 years to find a best mentors. Thank you so much, bhai. Thank you so much, Devesh. What is expected in the solution of this problem? The expectation in the solution of this problem is an onboarding experience that is customized with AI and that is catering to all four personas. That's expected. Very good question, all tech. Okay. How to decide which is good, efficient, or which one is generic? There's a lot of frameworks. Okay, bro, 10 years of experience teaches you something, and plus, I constantly am learning from my mentors. That's how I decide. ठीक है चलो okay okay how is this cohort different from YouTube learning? Anup, world official. Anup, that's such a stupid question. That's an insult to my cohort. If you're comparing my cohort to a YouTube learning, you should stick to YouTube learning for now, please. Okay. Where can you share our solutions? You can message me on any platform. I reply to each and every single DM. Sometimes I get sick or I don't reply in time sometimes, but most of the times I'm replying to all DMs, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. ठीक है? Do we get feedback on our designs? यार बहुत ज्यादा तो feedback मैं नहीं दे पाऊंगा सबको. I'll try to cover 2, 3, 5 solutions at least. Is it necessary to design multiple onboardings for something feature that we discussed today? यार देखो, is it necessary to do multiple onboardings? I mean, I didn't say multiple onboardings, but just imagine, um, अगर आपको conversion चाहिए ही चाहिए, ठीक है? Like you have decided that I want conversion in this feature, and I'm ready to go any length, and I have the tech bandwidth to actually design custom onboardings, right? Then why not? Just imagine, just think from the product thinking perspective, right? कि यार I know कि मेरे को ना early users के लिए दूसरा experience चाहिए, power users के लिए दूसरा experience चाहिए. In fact, I'll tell you this. In PhonePe, we had sorry, in Zepto, okay? In Zepto, we had some users that we used to call as ELC users. They are called early life cycle users. ठीक है, पीपल हु हैव नॉट मेड एनी सिंगल ऑर्डर लेजर से. ठीक है, फिर है, आई थिंक फिर है फर्स्ट टाइम, ओ नो सॉरी, अर्ली यूजर्स आर 1 to 5 orders. They were first time buyers, FTB, 0 orders, and then there are power users with more than 50 orders. We had so many journeys that were just unique. In fact, we had literally tailored experiences designed for all three of these user types. So if you needed, why not design onboarding separately? Will AI tools and modern workflows be covered? 5 months of 5 weeks, sorry. 5 weeks of building live with AI is there in the course. 5 weeks, twice a day, 3 hours a day. 60 hours, me and you sitting and trying stuff, building stuff in AI. 60 hours. ठीक है, and this is other than 20, 30 hours of recorded content that we'll give you, and this is just for pro plan, by the way. Base plan का भी अलग है. ठीक है, तो this is going to be a very detailed, exhaustive course. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap up, guys, थोड़ा सा, because if you guys have noticed, my throat is not good. ठीक है, I just took some medicines and got ready for the session. ठीक है, I'll try to give my throat some rest. Please shoot your questions to us in the DMs, in the WhatsApp community. I'm there in the WhatsApp community. I would be reading your messages. ठीक है, मास्टर्स इन डिजाइन करे या आपका कोर्स, मेरा कोर्स ये वाला करो, नेक्स्ट वाला करो, एंड देन 1 साल तक मेरे टच में रहो. ठीक है, यू विल बी बेटर ऑफ विद अ मास्टर, विदाउट अ मास्टर्स डिग्री. स्ट्रैटेजी तो पीएम को ही बनानी है इन कंज्यूमर एप्स. इफ यू बिकम गुड एट प्रोडक्ट थिंकिंग आल्सो, हाउ विल वी गेट ओनरशिप? ट्रस्ट मी ब्रो, माय हेड ऑफ डिजाइन फ्रेंड्स आर सेइंग कि प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर डिजाइन बना रहा है आज और डिजाइनर स्ट्रैटेजी बना रहा है. ठीक है, माय हेड ऑफ डिजाइन सर्कल, एंड आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पीपल हु आर क्या कहते हैं, पीपल हु आर लाइक एट 20, 30 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस. ये फिजिक्स वाला फिर से आ गए भाई, स्पैम करने. वंस इफ पॉसिबल लेट्स रिमूव हिम. ठीक है, whoever is this idea, why are you so overconfident? I'm talented, I've practiced my craft. ठीक है, phone पे design is still shit, nothing to brag on it. Oh my god. Match phone पे in your in your physics वाला app and then we decide. ठीक है, चलो. Anyways, guys, let's wrap this up today. Okay, I hope you learned something new. Okay, if you guys actually practice this and come with your solutions in the next cohort, you actually have WhatsApp, you can actually share your solutions. I would love to answer them. Okay, and if you're excited for product anatomy, shoot us a DM. Okay, on 16th, we are anyway uh, sh- launching this cohort, launching everything, revealing every single piece of information. ठीक है? चलो, thank you so much guys. Okay, and yes, I will keep on doing these free sessions. ऐसा नहीं है कि because I'm doing a course तो मैं सिर्फ paid session ही करता हूँ. It's just that I have a 5,000 member community already. ठीक है? I keep on mentoring people from LinkedIn, from Instagram for free. That is why I don't get time for these sessions. ठीक है? Otherwise, I would love to do more sessions. ठीक है चलो guys bye bye good night thank you so much for joining okay I hope you're all excited for product anatomy see you soon